So here's what I'm thinking. I love birthdays, especially when they're mine. Yes, I love the cake and the well wishing, more so than ever now that I'm on Facebook. Seriously, if you haven't joined Facebook yet, you should do it just because they remind all of your friends that it's your birthday. Now, 90% of the people who would have forgotten that day altogether instead send me epic posts regaling all of my best qualities and the impact I've made on the world. It is quite wondrous, actually. But I'm getting off track. You'll have to get used to that. The biggest reason that I love birthdays is because for me, it's like New Year's Eve. Not the champagne and singing part, but the resolution part. It is the time of year when I take a look at my life. I reflect back on it and I try to decide where I'm going and how I'm doing and if I want to change anything. Now, when I was a kid, my mom used to make me a birthday cake, and after I would blow out the candles, she would say to whoever was there, "So, tell me, what can David do now that he couldn't do a year ago?" And my family or the people who were there would say things depending on my age, like tie his shoes or ride a bike or speak Spanish. And it suddenly occurred to me that if you were to ask me that question now, what can David do that he couldn't do a year ago? It would have been some time before I could have given you an answer to that question. And I don't know how I feel about that. Now don't get me wrong, I am not lost. I am not unhappy or unfulfilled. I know my passion and my beliefs. I know my strengths and my gifts. Granted, I'm still working on the whole purpose thing, but that's another blog. But perhaps I'm a little stuck. I think if I were able to get above me and take a look down at my life, I would see myself standing still. And I think I want to change that. So here's what I'm thinking. Today I turn 49 years old, and in the midst of the last 4+ decades, I have lived my life many ways. I have lived my life hard. I have lived life anxious. I have lived life poor. I have lived life joyously. I have lived well. I have lived scared. I have lived inspirationally, but I can't ever remember a time that I have lived intentionally. I think there'll be something significant about turning 50, not in a, oh my God, I'm so old way, but being alive for half a century must mean something. There must be some kind of transferring from experience to wisdom, some kind of transferring from living my life for me as a doer and warrior, and perhaps to start living my life for others as a mentor or guide. So then today starts what I am calling my year of preparation. And in this year, I will live intentionally. I will reflect on my life and I will prepare myself for whatever adventure will come next. And then a year from now, I invite you to ask me the question, what can David do now that he couldn't do a year ago? I plan on having an answer. So, here then is my intention list. Number 1, I will write and create a second blog entry. And number 2, I will risk living, loving, growing, reflecting, failing publicly. I invite you to subscribe to my blog and follow along with me. I invite you to journey on this path. And please, your comments are not only welcome, but perhaps necessary. We don't grow well in a vacuum. Community is always done best together. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering about the title of the blog, I will get to that soon. But for now, I'm thinking about birthdays.